Hi and welcome to NedDev. Today is a short one all about standard input, standard output and standard error. If you've used any kind of shell program like Bash or PowerShell, then you'll likely have come across these concepts. So standard input is your input from the keyboard, can then be used within a program. Standard output is, say, where your print statements are going. And then standard error where you would log any errors or extra information about a program. Over in VS Code, I'm just going to create a new file that we can put everything we learn within the episode. So attach 16, it's our 16th file. So open that up and put in our usual pragmas and use warnings. So the three things I talked about at the beginning were standard in, standard out, and standard error. And we'll go through each of these one by one, using them within a program. So the first thing is standard in. Now that's taking information from our keyboard and using it within our program if that's what we want to do. So we can say my input, we can assign this to the less than and greater than sign, and within those two signs we can say stand in. Now in VS Code this turns blue because it is a keyword within Perl, so it's just doing some syntax highlighting, and we can then print this out. Inputs and run it. So perl16, and now it looks like our console is just frozen. So what it's really doing is it's getting to this line here and it's expecting some input from the keyboard. So what we can do is then say hi and enter, and then what it does is it moves on to this next line and prints out what we just put in, which is hi with a new line character, because you press enter to enter that into our program. Something you may come across when reading other Perl files is something similar to this or related to this, but not the same. So if I copy this out, comment it, and put it down here and remove stand in, and then run this, it's exactly the same thing. We get the same answer. Now, in this very instance, it works in exactly the same way. But if you come across these two in another Perl file, it just gives you a starting point. It's similar to what we're doing up here, but not quite the same as. Okay, moving on. So we'll move on to standard out and standard error, because these two are related. So what we've done just up here is implicitly sent the input to our standard output. Now to do this in an explicit manner, firstly I'll create a new variable. So let's call this name and say NedDev. And what we can say is we want to print out name to our standard out. Now when I run this file, it will, forgot a new line character, it will print to the standard output, just the same as this would. Okay, so we've worked that out. Now what about standard error? Let's create two new variables. Let's say fname is equal to ned, or actually let's say that's equal to ned, and this new one is called lname, and I'll call that dev. Now below, what we'll do is print out to both standard output and standard error. copy this down, say standard error, say lname. Cool, so let's run this program. Now we can see they've both printed to the same place, which might seem odd because they're two different file handles that are meant for different things. Now they are being printed to the same place in the end, but they are not going via the same route. Now I can prove that to you on the terminal. So if I run this program and send it to a info.log file, we can say, using the greater than sign, what this does is it pushes any output into the info.log. So now what the first thing we see is that only dev printed out standard error, which means that STDOUT is being moved off into this info.log file. Now we can see we have ned. So let me delete that info.log file. And what we will do is say 2. And this is the other route that I could take. And now we're only getting ned because STDOUT is not being pushed into anything, but standard error is, which is our second possible output route. Now coming to info.log, we've got dev. Okay, so let's use everything we've learned and write a little program that contains all of the standard input, standard output, and standard error. So to do this, I'm going to firstly print to standard out and say, what is your name? We can quickly just test this. What is your name? Fine. And then we can say my name as a scalar is equal to whatever the standard input is after we print out the question. So we can say ned. And nothing's happening with that. So let's test to see if the user has actually written anything. So if name is not equal to no string, so if it contains some words, we can say print to our standard output and say your name is and name. Else we can print to the standard error and say please enter a name. Right, let's test if this works. So what is my name? My name is Ned. That's fair. And do it again. We can say, just click enter. Oh, now it says we have an error because I entered nothing, but it still says your name is something. So in here, I think we need a new line character. So just enter, and then it says, please enter a name, because all we've done is click enter. So if your name is not equal to only a new line character, then please enter a name, or rather, next time you run the program. And here what we have is just a simple program that demonstrates how to get a standard input and sends to our standard out or standard error. Thanks for watching. Please like or dislike, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.